Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 12th day of October, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds. That will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It also gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. On the days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, there's two other ways to join the show. Number one, you can point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. Also, we broadcast live each day during the show on our YouTube channel, and that's so easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we archive each and every daily show, not only do we broadcast live, but we archive each and every daily show. Currently, there's over 1,800 daily live broadcasts archived there for your educational and viewing pleasure. So let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings, for your mercy, for your grace. We give thanks to you today. Together as a group, we bless your name. You alone are good, and your steadfast love endures forever. Your faithfulness endures from generation to generation. As we gather today, fill our minds, our hearts, and our mouths with praise for you. And we ask, God, that you would guard our thoughts and our hearts, that we may glorify you in every aspect of our lives. You are the name above all names, the King above all kings. Blessing and glory, wisdom and thanksgiving, honor and power and strength be unto you, our God, forever and ever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, happy Tuesday. I do hope it's a happy Tuesday for you, whoever you are and wherever you are. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Starting here at home in the U.S., the Dow currently up 100 points. The NASDAQ up 42. S&P 500 up 11.5, almost 12. And the Russell 2000 up 13. No movers or shakers, but they're all green. So that puts the four major indices on the same side of the street. And that's part of the recipe for good trading conditions. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 21 cents, trading 80.73 last. Gold up $5, trading 17.60.70 last. And silver down a dime, trading 22.56 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a loss of 267 points. The Shanghai dropped 44 points. And the Hang Seng fell 362 points. Now for the Nikkei, that's a loss of 1%. For the Shanghai, that's a loss of 1.25%. And for the Hang Seng, it's a loss of 1.5%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE was down 16 points, the DAX was down 52, and the CAC was down 22. So that gives us a red day in Asia, a red day in the UK, but it is a green or Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. So with that, we'll go to Michael and get a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. After that, I'll be back. We'll take a look at the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and of course, at any time, if you have questions, just put them in the chat box. We're always happy to answer them for you. Michael, I can see your charts, so it's all yours.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the home page here at eminitrainingschool.com. All that we ask for here is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you have to click on that confirmation link. All right. Recaps. Now, here we go. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 12th day of October, 2021. We made 8 ticks in crude. We lost 6 in gold. And we made 40 on the ES. That put us at plus 520 on the morning session. Today, it took 17 minutes and 3 trades to get to $270 a contract. And we took a total of 25 trades today. So on the month now, we're at $6,247. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $780 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we've gotten our goal on 194 out of 197 possible trading days. And that puts us at $117,057 on the year. That's 1 contract, 2 hours per day, averaging $594 on the year. Now, excuse me, if you were to quit when you got your goal for the day and you traded everything exactly as I did, you get all the same fills and all that, and you added 1 contract per month, you would have only traded a total of 52.82 hours so far this year. You would have placed 607 trades, and you would have averaged $2,410 per hour. Okay, $2,410 per hour average. But granted, only working 52 hours so far this year, almost 53. All right, so let's get into what was that? That's interesting. Let's get into the trades that happened here. Okay, now gold, we ended up negative on gold. We started negative and we ended negative. We did get back to 0 at one point. We actually even got positive at one point. But let's get into the trades that actually started here. Now, there was a lot of pre-market action in gold. So I was expecting it to start out pretty messy, and it did start out pretty messy. It stopped me out on this first one right here, and that was just total stop out. That was it gave the trade. I guess the one thing we could have done differently is the cycle was going up kind of steep. If I was going to say I did anything wrong, it was taking one with the cycle went up kind of steep. But it was looking like it was going to get down to here, which it didn't do. Stopped me out, turned around, came back over here. It had a long trade right in here, and I got something on this. I gave myself a break even, but I know I got something positive on that. Then the next trade right here, we picked up 7 ticks. That put us at -1. Actually, no, we picked up 9 ticks. That put us at +1. Sorry. Then I stopped out again. That put us at -7. Then I had a break even there, a break even there. Then here I picked up 7 ticks. That put me back to 0. I picked up 2. That put me at +2. And then let's see, there was a short right here and a short right here that I missed. Then it got kind of sideways again, and I tried to take a trade here, going short, and it stopped me out -8 ticks, and that put us at -6 total. And that's where we ended it on the morning session, was right in there. See how we just did all this garbage right here? There was no trading it there. During the break, there was really nothing you could do during the break either. It was just more of the same stuff. Now, things started out okay, but they didn't end up okay. Crude oil was a lot like that. It had some good pre-market activity. It had some nice runs right here. I didn't get into them because I think I was trading the ES at the time. You see all this pre-market activity in crude. Now, usually when you get that, you're going to have kind of a rough start once the markets actually open up. And you see right in here, it all messed up in through here. I wanted to wait until we got a nice trend. So we started to break out of this mess right here, right there. I missed a trade there, then it got out of it completely. I missed a trade there, and I missed a trade there. And at the same time this was going up, I think the ES was running at the same time. We'll have to look at that. I'm pretty sure that was the case. We missed a trade here. Then here, we picked up 1 tick there, 4 ticks there to put us at +5. Then 9 ticks to put us at +14. Then we stopped out, put us down to +8, missed a trade there. And here we picked up, that put us at +6 after we stopped out there. And here we picked up 2 ticks to put us at +8. All right, and I was looking for it to get down here, which it didn't do. Turned around, went back up, had a break even, another break even, and then it just got really messy right at the end. During the break, it didn't have a trade here. Might have given you 1 momentum long trade right here that wouldn't have gone anywhere. That was it. It just wasn't giving it up. Now the ES is where we made our money, but you see this darker shade of gray? I didn't want to trade while it was in that darker shade of gray, because when I did trade while it was in that darker shade of gray, I stopped out right there. But that darker shade of gray is based on this move right here. It gave this huge move right here, and everything after it was a mess. Now I extended the darker shade of gray all the way over to here at the beginning of the morning session. At some point, actually I didn't extend it over there. I started it right there where it was. It's just infinite, so I'm just going to remove it for right now. But anyway, we started out here on the ES with a break even right there. Then our first trade here, we picked up 16 ticks. Our second trade, we picked up 12 more to put us at +28. And I believe this is where we got our goal for the day, right in here, because we're a -8, and then we ended up with this and this at the same time, because they happen so fast. This one and this one and this one. We're a -8 on gold, and so we picked up that and then that added on top of it to give us the goal for the day. We missed the follow-up trade there and there, and then it got kind of messy. Got in over here. There was a momentum long trade right here that looks like it would have worked out okay. Right, got back into the weekly trading zone. It was a bunch of nothing in there. A whole lot of nothing. Then we took a short over here. We ended up with a break even on. We took a long right here, and on this one we picked up 8 ticks. It put us at +36. Then somewhere we picked up 4 to put us at +40, and then we picked up 8 to put us at +48. Then we had a break even there. We missed a trade there, and looks like we missed a short right there, and we stopped out on this one. That put us at +40 on the morning session. I think that was where we finished trading on the morning session, because the rest of it was just all through here. It was just a mess. Okay, right here, it just barely broke out of that big range that I had shown, but then it got right back in it, and it was just a mess until the end of the session. This was all during the break right here. Once it got on the upside of the weekly trading zone, broke out of that stuff, gave one more long trade right here, and then a whole bunch of chop. So it was, it started off okay. The ES did. It started off nice trading right at the beginning, and then it turned into a whole bunch of nothing. So with that, let me go back here. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 12th day of October, 2021. We picked up 8 ticks in crude. We lost 6 in gold, and we picked up 40 on the ES. That put us at plus 520 on the morning session. Today it took 17 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $270 a contract, and we took a total of 25 trades. So on the month now, we're up $6,247 a contract. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $740 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we've gotten our goal for the day on 194 out of 197 days, and that puts us at $117,057 on the year. That's over 197 trading days, averaging $594 per contract per 2-hour trading day. If you were to stop when you got your goal for the day, every time so far this year, you would have only traded for about 53 hours. And if you added 1 contract per month, you currently would have averaged $2,410 per hour. You would be at $127,297 gross, about $101,713 net after an $8 commission for every single trade you took. So that would have been 3,198 round turns so far. Let's go here. Okay, if you've not taken the free trial with us and you want to, go here to eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us your biggest trading channel so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link, okay? If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so make sure you click on that link. Okay? All right. That's it, guys. With that, I'll pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Okay? If you are ready.
Yes, sir. I am ready. Recap of the recap.
Today, it took 17 minutes and 3 trades to get to $270 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you.
So what else is going on in the world? Any news today?
Yeah, we did have some news. The jobs report came out worse than expected. It was JOLTS jobs report.
Is that, now
Came out
that's
worse than
job
expected.
openings, right?
Yeah, yep. And
Because
that came out worse than expected.
There's all these jobs and not enough people to fill them. So
yeah,
I was expecting that to be a high number.
Yeah, well, apparently it's not. It
Wow.
was lower than anticipated. So they'll find some way to spin that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Give
They
Biden
always
about
do.
a 6-word line that he can say and say it and disappear.
Yeah.
But
from his fake White House set.
Yeah, yep.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Well, there's always green grass is always green where he is.
What's gas running in your area?
Well, you know what? I have a thing right here on my phone. I'll be able to tell you in just 1 second.
It's
on
California, it's
that.
over $4, I think.
Yeah, well, I got this thing more for the kids than me, but it's not that bad. That's premium. That's for Jake's. Regular here is running right about $3.
$3?
Yeah, $3. $3.09.
Okay.
The range within like 10 miles of me, the range is $2.89 to $3.09.
Well, that's not so bad. I mean,
it's not
higher.
good.
It's higher than it was under the previous administration, obviously. But
Yeah. It's about
how about store
$1 a
shelves?
gallon.
When you go to the store, are you seeing empty shelves?
In some things are showing empty shelves, but not like at the beginning of the pandemic. But I'm stocking up anyway, just in case. But I see the things about the ships out on the West Coast, and the latest thing that I've seen about that is it's not about truck drivers and a lack of truck drivers. The trucks are there waiting. It's there's nobody manning the cranes. The cranes have been sitting idle, and so there's some bureaucratic thing there. I'm pretty sure.
Where did all the crane operators go?
I know, and how many operators do you need for 7 cranes? You know, there's this one place in Portsmouth, I think, or something like that, where they had all these trucks lined up, waiting to go, waiting to be loaded, and they've been waiting there for days. And they had all these ships waiting to be offloaded, and all those cranes hadn't moved. So,
well, over the weekend, a bunch of Southwest airline pilots all called in sick, and Southwest was virtually shut down. And this is because of the vaccine mandate. And then, who else was it?
And it's not even an actual mandate yet.
Right.
They nothing's come from any place that makes it a law. It's just it's just the media right now saying that this is what they said they're going to do.
Yeah, and Southwest's president sent a letter to all employees that said they had to be vaccinated by a certain date or they'd be fired. So all these pilots called in sick, and even air traffic controllers, I think it's 50% or a little better of air traffic controllers have not been vaccinated. And those are some pretty smart guys that sit up there and operate,
Oh yeah.
keep all those planes in the air.
They gotta be alert. And you gotta have good life habits to have that kind of thing. I almost did that at one point, but I couldn't. You gotta have good life habits, and I didn't at that time. And I do now, but but back then when I was younger,
Right.
you can't want to stay up all night and do things like that. You have to have a stable.
It's a very high stress
life.
job.
Yeah, and so you have to have a low stress life, physical low stress life, and mental low stress life, really, to deal with the high stress job.
Right. Now tomorrow we get the minutes of the Fed meeting.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon, 2:00.
So the last time we got the minutes, I said don't expect much to happen because the way Jerome does the press conference and answers questions, there's really not much left to the minutes. But when the minutes came out last time, the market actually did show a huge reaction. So we will be watching tomorrow to see what happens. And of course, as you all know, we don't trade the news. We don't trade the reaction to the news. We trade the follow-through to the reaction to the news. So
we also have in the pre-market tomorrow. There's CPI and core CPI coming out tomorrow pre-market.
Okay, those are both high impact.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that's the change in the price of consumer goods.
And things are getting more expensive. There is inflation.
Much more expensive. They're calling for 0.3%. It's going to be way off. And then there's core CPI is a change in the price of consumers, goods, and services, excluding food and energy.
Yeah, because nobody uses food or gas. So
yeah. So the core CPI is the one to really pay attention to. Yeah. But those are both coming out tomorrow, and I think they're both going to be off.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay, guys, we'll go now to the Logic 247 recap. And it's been a bit of a tough week. After 167 weeks. Now, what is Logic 247? That's our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. It's not only the E-minis, though. It also includes crude, gold, and silver. And the requirement for an alert to be issued is opportunity. An alert goes out when opportunity presents itself. So far this week, we've issued a total of 22 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 5. We've had 17 actionable alerts, of which 3 of those would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible based on market structure and a simple 3-step method we teach all of our traders. So we're sitting at 17% stopped out. A typical week over the last 167 weeks has averaged 20%. Now, along with the Logic 247 around the clock alerts, we still have our original alert service, which is the concierge trade alerts. And as opposed to coming out around the clock, these are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex Open. Posted them last night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll notice there's two numbers for each market: S&P, Dow, Russell, crude, NQ, gold, and yes, even silver. Now, best way to handle these, once the report is published, the numbers are good for the entire session, is you draw a line in the sand on your chart at 43.80, draw a line in the sand at 43.40. If price starts trending up towards 43.80, that's bullish, and so our strategy will look for opportunities to buy the market. And you will look for opportunities to buy the market using everything that you learn in the live training room each morning. Everything that Michael teaches you, this is the time to put it in play. If price starts trending down towards 43.40, that of course is bearish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to sell the market, and you also will look for opportunities to be short using everything that you've learned each morning in the live training room. Live training rooms open from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. every trading day. So if you want to grab a screenshot of this, go ahead, and then we'll go take a look at the charts. Okey-doke. And we'll start out with a daily chart of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Up here we still have our all-time historic intraday high, our all-time historic closing high, and then we had the bearish cross. We had a leg, a retracement, a leg, a retracement, a leg, and a retracement. So the big question here is this leg that we're currently on, is it going to take out these lows? Are we in an ongoing, this is what an ongoing uptrend looks like. And as you can see, the pullbacks hold more often than they don't. Bearish cross, leg, pullback held, leg, the pullback to the daily BBC held, and right now price is caught between blue and climbing and the daily BBC. The daily BBC represents resistance, blue and climbing represents support. Now we did spike blue and climbing, and we've run up against the step line. Now since the step line is directly above price, that represents potential resistance, as does this 50% reverse fib. Now that reverse fib was drawn from this high to this low. We spent 1, 2, 3 days spiking that 62% reverse fib. Price has now come down to what we all anticipate as support, blue and climbing. It spiked it, but now it's back above it. But it should run into trouble here at the step line and the 50% reverse fib. If it can somehow power its way through, then look for resistance at the BBC. BBC simply stands for bull bear cross. When price is above the BBC, we're bullish. We anticipate higher prices. When price is below the BBC, we're bearish. We anticipate lower prices. We've only had a couple of bearish crosses this entire year, and they were all very short-lived. This is the most time that we've spent below the BBC in over a year and a half. Think about that. That really makes a statement. So what happens here, we would have to overcome the step line, the BBC, these previous highs, get back up into this channel that we've obviously broken out of. This bearish cross, we were waiting on that. We were anticipating that would be resistance, and it was, and that's what sent the market down to these lows. And so right now, even though we were just printing a green candle, and even though we bounced off the lows, from a big picture perspective, sellers are in control. This is a bearish. I think over the weekend I might have called it a bull trap. Well, if it is, the bottom hasn't really fallen out yet. But we did have a sharp sell-off going into the close yesterday. So the important things to keep in mind: high of today, $43.65, resistance, and the low of today, $43.17. So I mean, we have a pretty good range on the day, and we basically got a daily doji going on that represents indecision. So we'll just have to be patient, trade what's in front of us, wait for the market to sort itself out. Moving on to the S&P, this vertical line separates today, Tuesday, from yesterday, Monday. And the CTA last night on the short side was 43.40, and the CTA on the long side was 43.80. These are the lines in the sand that I was just talking about. See, 43.80, 43.40. And this was the opening candle last night, right here. When the Globex market opened at 6 p.m. Eastern, we opened below the BBC, below red and falling, and we triggered on the short side, and that took us down to a low of 43.21.5. It's basically a 20-point move, just shy of it. 20 points at $50 a point. That's $1,000 per contract traded. But it's just shy of that. Okay. Support came, buyers came in, got us above red and falling turned to blue and climbing. We had another spike low right here, but we did not re-trigger on the short CTA. So we had a bullish cross, took us up to the weekly trading zone at 43.54/55. Price consolidated there for quite a while, and then tried to reach up to the zone overhead. And there's a sign of weakness. The market could not reach the zone overhead. We pull back to the BBC. The pullback has held for a number of hours. And look at all these tops across here. Price just could not overcome 43.64. This is the high of the session right across here. So there's your resistance. And now price has come back down through the weekly zone at 54/55 and is once again approaching 43.40. Now we came down and tapped it, but we did not trigger it, and now we're just waiting to see if this move. I believe we have an alert in the channel from 43.43 down to 43.41, and then all the way down to the weekly zone. So that's in the alert channel, so just be on the lookout for that. And then if we trigger 43.40, you should watch this area right here for potential support. 43.20. And then the weekly trading zones down at 43.01/43.02. That's the story on the S&P. Oh, I should point out, this bullish cross, which led to an extended move, when price came back to revisit that area, it became support. How many times have we seen that repeated over and over, again and again? On your 30-minute chart, when you have a bullish cross or a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, when price returns to that area the first time, in this case a bullish cross, when price returns the first time, you should expect it to be good support, and it was. We came back down again to the same area, and it was. We managed to trade higher, but now price is going to come back down, test that area again. If we get below 43.40, if we get below 43.36, there's really not much obvious that you can see to prevent us from trading down around 43.22. All right, so that's the S&P. On the Dow, no trigger on the long side. On the short side, $34,290 was the trigger, and on the first trigger, actually the only trigger on the short side, we dropped from 290 to 159. So it's about 120 points at $5 a point. So $600 per contract traded. And price, much like the S&P, we're below the BBC. Now, we did have these triggers, but these triggers are not valid because in order to take a short, we want to be below the BBC and we need to have red and falling. Here, we're above the BBC. When we're above the BBC, we're only looking for long trades. And so the fact that this spiked down and hit the trigger, well, that's just not a trade. Okay? So, I mean, price did get below the BBC, but look where we closed. Right at the BBC. Right at the BBC. Right at the BBC. And then we made one final run. And I think this just may be the high of the session right here for the Dow. We'll see what happens as we come back down to 34,290. If we trigger 290, you might want to let price get below this low and then just trade this area right in here to the short side and anticipate support at these lows, and then of course at the weekly trading zone as well. On the Russell, no trigger on the long side, triggered the short side, 2208. Price came right down to the target, which was the weekly trading zone. On every short alert, the final trade to target is always the weekly trading zone below. On every long alert, the final trade to target is always the weekly trading zone above. So from 2208, we traded down to 2200/2201. That's the weekly zone. So that's 7 points, $50 a point. It's $350 per contract traded. And here price was not able to get back above the trigger to trigger again. We got a bullish cross. We made it up to the zone at 2219/2220. We consolidated there for about an hour and a half. Only three things happen at a weekly trading zone. The most likely is consolidation. Second most likely is rejection. Third and least likely is the slice. So what's the Russell trying to do right now? Well, looks like it wants to pull back to the BBC, which we would expect to be good support. And from there, that would give us an opportunity on the long side. So we hit the zone. The zone is 2238/39, and the swing high here was 2238.1. So resistance right overhead. And even though we spiked it, this bearish cross area, now the Russell fought and it made it up to the zone, but that bearish cross was the beginning of the resistance that was felt here. If price can overcome the weekly zone above, then of course we've got a long trigger at 2242. So the Russell, while it didn't actually re-trigger, you can see it pulled back up to the trigger and dropped, then pulled back up to the trigger and dropped, and then it finally got above the BBC, pulled back to the BBC, and after some lengthy consolidation came to a rest, ran out of energy at the weekly trading zone. Now, these weekly trading zones are published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern for all of our members. We've published the zone since December 14th of 2009. So that's over a decade that they've served us extremely well, helping us understand where price. Think of your indicators as dynamic support and resistance. Think of the weekly trading zones as fixed support and resistance. And once the zones are published for the week, they're not changed or manipulated in any way. They are carved in stone for the entire week. On the NQ. The number for the NQ was 14,653. So let me take the quarter out of it. Alright, so here's the opening candle. We come down through 653 and come on, we put in a low at 596. So let's call it 50 points. It's a little over 50 points. 50 points at $20 a point. That's what the NQ pays. That right there is $1,000 per contract traded. From the trigger at 653 down to 14,600, a little below. 50 points, $20 a point, $1,000 per contract traded. Now it looks like we're about to come down through and attempt to trigger again. We did trigger here. We triggered again here, but we had blue and climbing in the way. So that makes it not a valid trigger. On this one, we dropped to 633. So that's 20 points at $20 a point. That's $400 per contract traded. So if we trigger again, I would let price get below this low and focus on this window of opportunity right here. Oh, something maybe like 622. $622 to 600. Okay, that would be 20 points, $20 a point, $400 per contract traded. The NQ is especially volatile, so if you've not traded it before, you got to be careful. Okay, moving on from the NQ, we go to crude oil. Okay, here's the dividing line. for today's session. The short side was 80 bucks and we dropped to 79.47. We'll call it 79.50. That's a $500 per contract move. The long trigger was 81.60 and we went 2 ticks over the line. Basically, price got rejected. Sometimes you can look at CTAs just like you would a weekly trading zone. Price tends to behave around those areas in a very similar manner. So price ran up and quickly retraced, just as here it ran down to the weekly zone 79.40/79.45, where it found support and bounced. And basically, we've been inside this weekly trading zone all day, from the low to the high, back to the zone, up to the zone, down to the zone, up to the zone, down to the zone, and now just trading sideways. Now from 80.20 to 81.15, from zone to zone, that's almost $1,000 per contract move. The price of crude changes by $1 from 80.20 to 80.20. Okay, from 80.20 to 81.20. That's a $1 move. If you're trading one contract, that move is worth $1,000. And so we'll see if price is able to, we're printing a red 30-minute candle right now. So there's a little window of opportunity right here from about 80.37 down to the zone at 80.25. So that's about a dime, $100 per contract. But price needs to get through this support first. Okay. Next is gold. Hang on, somebody's messaging me here. Let me check it out. See what's up. Okay. I don't think they answer the phone anymore, but I'll try calling them. On gold, the long trigger, CTA. Okay, this was the open last night. Traded a little bit lower, had a bullish cross. We triggered, and from 1757, we ran up to 1759.2. That's $200 per contract traded. And then we dipped just a tick or so below the trigger. 1757 took us up to a swing high at 62. That's $500 per contract traded. Then we dip below the trigger again. However, our blue and climbing turns to red and falling, and that's really not conducive for a trigger. And then price slips below 1757 and it runs right up to the zone. We get a little doji here, and now price is pulled back to the BBC. And here we sit, the top of the BBC. So who's more committed, buyers or sellers? Looks like buyers, at least for the day, have the upper hand. But this is going to be a difficult area for price to get through. 1770. All right, and last, silver. No trigger in either direction. We did go from zone to zone, but that's it. That brings us all the way back around to the daily chart, where we're still working on that daily doji. That means some sideways, choppy consolidation, so you need to be real careful there. Good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about how to find your calling. Today we'll talk about changing your thinking. Sometimes we all need to do that. Isaiah 54:3. You will spread out to the right and to the left. Your descendants will dispossess nations and settle in their desolate cities. God told his people in Isaiah 43:18, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. So if you're asking God for a vision or to enlarge the one he's already given you, you need to make room mentally. Isaiah 54:2 says, enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes, for you will spread out to the right and to the left. Somebody said dreams always come a size too big so you can grow to fit them. Don't settle for mediocrity in your work, your relationships, or your walk with God. Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the wind, explore, dream, and discover. Even if you come from a background of addiction, poverty, depression, abuse, low self-esteem, God can enable you to rise up and put an end to that old mindset of defeat. In biblical times, animal skins were made into wine containers. At first, they were flexible and easy to work with, but over time, they grew rigid and lost their ability to expand. That's why in Matthew 9:17, Jesus said, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. It would burst the old skins. New wine must be put into new wine skins. So the word is, throw out your old wineskins. God won't infuse a fossilized mind with fresh ideas, but he will change your life when you line up your thinking with his thinking. That's our good word for the day. If you have not yet become a CFRN passport holder, just go to eminifuturestrading.com and correct that. What is the passport? Passport is access, the all-access pass to everything we do. From the live training room in the morning, to workshops on Thursday night, to around-the-clock support via our Telegram support channels and discussion groups, the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, everything we do, everything we've ever done, and everything we're going to do in the future. Everything a trader needs. One low price. And it's waiting for you at eminifuturestrading.com. Everything you see on the screen. The group training, the live training room, the one-on-one private mentoring, our proprietary methodology, our indicators, which you'll own for life, the around-the-clock alerts, all that and much more. Everything a trader needs, one low price. There's no recurring weekly, monthly, annual fees. You buy a passport, that's lifetime membership. So go to eminifuturestrading.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, May God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.